Hey, Maria.
Hey, Lisa. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to
Second
see
day
you.
at the
Yes,
Wolfpack
the
Summit.
Wolfpack Summit, day 2. Very excited. New York City. Shout out.
Yes.
It's been a lot of fun here in New York.
It has been.
When we say New York, though, we always have to say "Go Sox." Like that's important.
Yes,
it's important.
Go Sox.
Let's remind everybody, "Go Sox." But we'll find out where Jonathan is from in a moment.
Oh yeah, I love talking baseball.
There you go.
Oh, we can do that. So our first guest today is Jonathan Townsley. He's coming to us from First Advantage, which is a background check organization. We're going to jump into some indirect conversation today. We'll talk a little. Let's find out where he's from, because you two were leaving me out of the conversation, as often happens when you start speaking Spanish with people. So we'll find out where he's from and why he's able to speak to you in a way that I can't. So welcome,
Exactly.
Jonathan.
Welcome, Jonathan.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate this opportunity to speak. And this conference, this gathering, I'd call it, it really has been special because it's small, intimate, and like Paul said in his introduction yesterday, we're here to have each other's back. So
That's it.
when you're thinking about procurement, you're thinking about small groups, you're thinking about being connected,
Yes.
This is the place to be because everybody has your back. The pack has your back.
Pack has your back.
I
Yes.
love that.
Yes. I mean, I think we're hearing that more than any other conference that we've been to. That is definitely what this is. It is just a bunch of people. You know, I keep bringing people over to meet Maria, who I've been talking to on LinkedIn, or I've had these wonderful, and we think they're intimate, and they do get intimate over
Yeah.
LinkedIn. I mean, these are long-term
Yes.
friends where we watch each other's career growth, and it's just
Yes.
been remarkable.
You know, and I want to say shout out to the Wolfpack, because it was properly named. Even though procurement could be a lonely sport, if you would, here is a pack and everybody has their back. Even if they
Yes.
don't know you, oh, you're in procurement, let's talk.
Yeah.
So that is so important, especially in this field. So
Yes.
important.
Indeed. There are so many stories to share, so many experiences that we can all learn from, and I'm all about learning, so this is
Same
great
here.
for me.
Same here.
That's one. So, Jonathan, start at the beginning.
Yep.
Where you from, and how did you get here?
I'm from the great city of St. Louis originally. I live in Atlanta now, and people always ask me, well, do you like the Braves?
Yeah.
Sure, I like the Braves because I like baseball, but I love the Cardinals. I grew up within blocks of Busch Stadium.
Oh, nice.
So, diehard Cardinals fan, and but living in Atlanta is great. I've been there for a few years. Working in procurement, though, for more than 20 years. I've done everything from ordering parts for factories to transforming whole departments into something more strategic, something more value added, which is really my passion, and I enjoy that. I just enjoy working with people, helping them learn, helping them grow.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So your position at First Advantage is?
So I'm working on all of the categories for direct data and third-party data. So imagine if you were ever going to look for any job opportunity and you were to be hired, that company might do a background check on you. And in order to do that, they would call First Advantage and say, hey, I need a background check on Lisa. So how do we get that information to that employer? I work with suppliers like Experian, TransUnion,
Okay.
Equifax, and many others that can provide data on your criminal history,
Interesting.
your driving history, even your social media posts. So please, don't put anything out there on Facebook or Instagram that you wouldn't want your mom to see,
Yep.
let alone
you
your
go.
employer
Yes.
to
I'm
see.
glad that you said that.
Yeah, we deliver that message directly to Elijah.
Please, don't
Bring
do it.
Elijah up a lot.
Don't do it. Because we will find it.
So that's wonderful. So you're investigating the data organizations, vetting them, and bringing and onboarding. So you're almost doing a background check on the
Yes.
organizations that are going to do
A
background
part
checks.
of what we do is really making sure that we don't have any bad actors entering into our ecosystem. We're also looking for ways to become more efficient in our costs. And what I really like is looking for ways to become more innovative, not only in the way that we source the data, but how do we involve that data and integrate it into our own products so we can make everybody's job easier, make our customers happier. Really, the whole life cycle is involved in procurement and everything that I do.
That's true.
So who are your biggest customers? Is it the private sector or the public sector?
Well, we're pretty diversified, and I like that word because I
Yes.
do interact with many people, not so much clients, but the organization itself, our clients and customers really span the spectrum of industrials, financial
Okay.
companies, also retail companies, even companies like Uber and Lyft that need maybe short-term type of drivers or workers.
Yeah.
So we provide those services for them.
Oh, for the temporary staff also. So
Indeed.
interesting.
I,
Interesting.
I have a background in law enforcement before I became
Oh,
involved
okay.
in supply diversity and procurement.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always interested in what is the strangest thing you ever found in your doing this.
Well, I don't really adjudicate anything, but what I've heard are some people that have interviewed for jobs and have been offered the job, accept the job, and then when they show up for work, it's not them.
Oh my God.
I read about that. I thought it was a fallacy.
No, it happens quite a bit, and we have some technologies, and part of our service offering tries to weed that out.
Interesting. Huh.
This and we keep hearing about AI, right? It's been the topic. It is a topic wherever we go.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to know: is AI part of background checks? Are we letting the robots decide who we are from?
Well, we're not to full-blown AI within our ecosystem, but we are using a lot of robotic process automation so that we can do the check quicker,
Okay.
get an answer to an employer quicker. So
Nice.
we haven't fully involved that technology yet, but it is coming.
That's exciting.
Fascinating.
That's
it really
exciting.
is fascinating. This whole world.
So, Jonathan, how big is your procurement team?
We have a small but mighty team.
Yeah, of course.
We are about 12 folks.
That's a good
right
size.
now
Okay.
That are spread all across the globe. We have folks in Texas, California, in Georgia, as well as India, and some in Europe too.
Now I have the question. Does your company have a supply diversity program?
Yes, we have, I would say, the beginnings of a supplier diversity program.
That's important.
At the most basic level, we report on the suppliers that we have relationship with that are diverse. Many of them are actually women-owned,
Nice.
which is great. And they provide some of the data elements that we are looking for. So it's a great relationship. I would like to see the program evolve to another level where we're actually helping those suppliers learn how to do business with us and actually learn how to do business with other large firms
like
across
that.
our industry.
Supplier development is such an important aspect for organizations, for corporate and government, to bring to small businesses. As we're seeing some cuts in the federal funding to SBA, which will affect SCORE, of course, understanding those and creation of capability statements, which you do very well in assisting organizations and small businesses to do that, but giving the ability for organizations to say, this is the expectations we have. If you'd like to do business with us,
Yep.
here's the requirements that we have for you. And this is for all. Sometimes we put the word diverse in front of supplier.
Yeah.
And I think, well, I don't know why we had to say that, because it's I'm a procurement first initiative around supplier diversity, meaning here's the requirements, here's how you play with us, here's the rules. Can you or can you not meet them? Okay, if you can, we'll go into that next phase of building out that relationship. But the ability for a company to say, we're going to invest in who we do business with to improve, that's really where we start seeing some economic impact and geographic rising of people in towns and cities and urban areas. And
it's really an important aspect of what we should be doing in procurement. Not everybody does, but I think we should do more of that.
Yeah.
I'm lucky in where I live in Atlanta. There is a large community of diverse suppliers and companies that want to help them, especially in the fintech space. Companies like Vital4, companies like Fiserv, they all have great diversity and supplier development initiatives where they want to actually help people get access to money,
Yeah.
help them grow their business, help them learn, help them thrive. So all those are great things.
That's amazing. Well,
What is the onboarding process for your company? And can the vendors looking to establish relationship with your company can self-certify or upload the information because they are certified?
Yeah, so we have a rigorous process for onboarding because we deal with so much personal information. So it may be a bit more strict than another company would have. So in that regard, it may present a challenge to a smaller company,
Okay.
but I'm there to help them understand that they have to answer these questions because we're dealing with such sensitive information.
Absolutely, yeah.
So there's that initial challenge, but once they get through it and answer the questions to all of our team's satisfaction, they're brought on board, and they do have the opportunity to tell us if they are certified diverse, or even if they aren't. I think we can work with them to help them become certified because we would see such potential in them. Many times we've come across suppliers that are small, but they have great innovative products and services, and we don't want to put that to the side just because they're small.
right.
We'd
right.
like to involve them in our supply chain.
Yeah, and that goes right back to that development, which is amazing, and the opportunity to increase the supplier diversity thresholds with the support of corporate is so
Yes.
important. It's so important. I know we're getting started here. This has been amazing. It's been amazing to get to know you.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that we haven't asked you that you want to make sure you highlight?
I really enjoy the opportunity again to meet new people. That's great. I will certainly subscribe to the podcast.
Thank you.
I'm an avid podcast listener, so this will be in my queue
Wonderful.
going forward.
We appreciate that.
I just really enjoy the networking, the learning, and just spending a few minutes with you. It's great.
This was
Excellent.
wonderful.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much. What a pleasure to meet you. I am excited to say that we have another sponsor that's joining us. So we're going to jump right in. I'd love to introduce you to Victor Hu.
Victor, pleasure
Varisource.
meeting
Hey,
you.
guys. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
It's great to have you here, and we're really excited about having sponsors on who are sponsoring this amazing event, right? I mean,
Yeah.
what we have here today, this networking and getting to know all of the vendors really intimately, which is really wonderful. So let's take this moment and find out, what is Varisource, what do you do, and
The background. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah,
It's
for
always
sure.
important.
No, thank you so much. We're actually we created the first ever savings automation platform, and so we're in a pretty unique position because actually a lot of the vendor here are partners of ours, and
Oh, wow.
obviously, so we service both sides. So essentially, think of us as the Expedia for savings.
oh, interesting.
Okay,
Wow.
so as an Expedia, we don't fly the airplane, right? But if you have, Varisource essentially has 50,000 vendor that participates in what we call the savings program,
Oh, wow.
which give companies access to free discounts, rebates, benchmark data, and savings on either vendor renewals or new purchases. And a lot of that 50,000 vendors are here today, like Zip or Ortiz or
Sure.
many other companies here. We kind of are the connector between the customer and giving them a better deal on all these solutions. So
And so you're tracking where and how these savings are being discovered in real time. So not soft
Yeah.
potential savings. You're not
Yep.
doing that calculation,
Yep.
right? Anybody in procurement, we know that, right?
So we actually make it easy. So the first step is we take the spend file of a company, right? So we know kind of, okay, last year who are your vendors, what are your spending? Our AI system automatically scans through and say, within our savings program, which category of vendors do we have savings for, right? and we'll tell you, hey, we can save you on X amount, 50% of your vendors, 20% of your vendors. We do cover 100 spend categories, which is very unique.
Wow, that's
Wow.
great.
So a lot of the vendors here obviously focusing more on software savings, which is big.
Yep.
But within a company, you have, software, hardware, cloud, network, insurance, travel,
Sure.
office supplies, MROs, pharmacy benefits. You have so many things that companies might overspend on.
Yep.
And we'd love to get into maybe why some of these companies are overspending. But yeah, we really identify those opportunities. And so we like to say we give procurement teams superpowers because we give them visibility on where overspending or overcharging, more so from vendors, is happening. And then obviously we help them get that savings as well. Yeah.
That's amazing. So you mentioned that you have over 50,000 vendors that you do business with.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure that you have a platform to keep track of all of your suppliers.
Yeah.
How is your onboarding process looks like
For the vendors?
for the vendors? Yes.
Yeah, so we definitely have a dedicated vendor team that goes out and do a lot of the research. We look at track all of the new AI tools, and it's similar to Gartner in a way. We'll talk to them, learn about where they really differentiate, and bring them on into a pretty strict vendor onboarding process. Because in order to join our savings program, right, in our vendor network, they have to adhere to providing us different discounts and rebates and value to the customers that are looking for these type of solutions.
I see.
Right, because again, if you're a company and you just go out and search on Google, you can find a bunch of blue links. You
Yep.
can find a lot of different options.
Right.
But there's no discounts, there's no savings. It's just you're just finding these companies. So imagine that same value, but we're able to give you not just the name of the company, but say, hey, they do fit your budget, and
Yep.
they do meet actually what you need. Instead of talking to 20 companies, you should talk to these 3. So our AI will provide that information to the customer, and then ultimately actually give them access to that discount and rebates that they wouldn't have gotten if they went to the vendor directly.
So in some respects, you're acting as an AI GPO.
Yeah.
Let me throw a little initials at you.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Right?
AI
It's an
GPO in a
AI
way.
GPO
yeah.
in a way.
And that's a good analogy as well. So a lot of the top GPOs all use Varisource because we cover 100 spend categories. So if, for example, Microsoft doesn't have a GPO program, you're
Right.
not going to go Microsoft and say, I got these customers and give me a discount. Microsoft is a monopoly, and they're not going to give you that kind of discount. And so, but yeah, we created sort of an AI GPO, but across hundreds of category, and not just because typically GPOs are for more commodity type of service,
Sure.
right? Office supplies, shipping, and those type
Yep.
of thing, which is fine, but it often doesn't cover technology categories.
So I like to ask you questions about your
Sure.
suppliers.
Of course.
Onboarding for suppliers. Does your platform is set? First of all, do you have a supplier program?
A supplier
Yes.
diversity program.
Supplier diversity program. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And how is that onboarding looks like?
Yeah, such a great question. So, when we bring on these suppliers, again, when you search on Google, Google can only crawl what's on their website.
Right.
So, I mean, if you look at these vendors, there's so much more information. Do they have SOC 2 certification? What's their
Right.
security compliance? Are they diverse? Diversity requirements. More about the business. But Google can't crawl that. And companies aren't just going to put all that on their website either.
Right.
So when they join our vendor network in the savings program, we do want to get to know them a lot more than what Google does, right? So we say, hey, what differentiates you? What compliance do you have? And so we'll collect a lot more of that information, and our AI is able to obviously digest it and be able to then help the customer find the right. So a customer can say, hey, I'm looking for a e-signature service. My budget is this. Looking for X amount of license, and I need a vendor who has diversity programs or is diverse, and they also need to have SOC 2 or HIPAA compliance.
Sure. Wow,
So there's a
you-
lot of different things that they
Yeah.
want, but you couldn't find it on Google. Right, that level of research, and to some degree not even ChatGPT or some of the AI,
Right.
because they can't crawl. These AI can only crawl what they can see, but they can't see these information on presentations or one-pagers that these vendors have. But we can, because that's part of the onboarding process.
Thank
That's
you.
really neat. So let's go back to the start. the start of Varisource, were you starting as a tailspend? Like I envision you as a tailspend who then said, "Oh no, wait, we have more."
Yeah, we. So first of all, quick background for myself. So I spent, majority of my career in consulting services, selling technology, telecom, cloud, software to enterprises. Became friends with a lot of the CFOs, CTOs, procurement, and just wondered, hey, oftentimes wondering, hey, you've had sites that closed, but you're still paying service to our company.
Yeah.
Like, why is that? Just really becoming friends and being transparent with them and saying, like, aren't you aware of, you're still overpaying, or you're paying for things that the location's not even there anymore. And they start to tell me about, where they lack visibility into the spend. They lack visibility into the vendor because everything is so disparate. So, contracts, invoices, spend, all of this data is all over the place.
Right.
So they don't have a good grasp on what vendor does, the who, what, when, why, how, actually. And that sounds pretty, challenging, but and these companies are spending $50 million, $100 million.
Absolutely.
And so that really, thought to me is like, okay, is it a software problem? Is it a telecom problem? But as I talked to more CFO, I realized, no, this is an entire vendor problem. Even if you're buying insurance, you're not even quite sure if you're paying the right insurance rates.
That's true.
Yes.
And so for us is, okay, so how do we solve that? And I think with the beginning of AI, or the launch of AI the way it is now, it really gave us the ability to be able to provide that in a scalable way to companies.
Because it sounds like you're connecting some dots around what the contract is, right? So let's talk about, let's jump into what the onboarding is as a new client.
Yep.
What is the uptick? Because how much where I see the value of your product requires me to give you a lot of information. What does that look like in order for me to share that information with you?
Yeah, fantastic. That's a great question. So we sort of have a two-step process. The first step we call immediate savings, and the second step is continuous savings. Because once you start getting savings, you want that savings to continue as much as possible. So I'll kind of break it down in two parts. So the immediate saving is we'll take your AP file, so we know kind of who you're spending money with. We'll do what we call a saving estimate report. Basically, it will show you where potential savings are, how many vendors there's potential savings. And obviously most customers says, okay, great. You tell me you're going to save me $2 million, $8 million. That's just on paper. But I like it. I want the $8 million. How do I get it? Right? Prove it. Now, of course, even if we said, all right, great, give me all your invoices, contracts, the challenge is, even if the company wanted to, and especially in the beginning, they're building a relationship, they're not going to give us all the data. But, because one, they don't even have it. They haven't kept up with it. It's all over the place. So we said, okay, let's start with a couple proof of concepts. So we'll start with 2 or 3 projects to do savings for them. And once we validate that we're able to get them savings in those couple, 2 or 3 projects, we call that immediate savings. So usually the first step is driving savings for companies automatically within less than 30 days. With any renewals, purchases, going to get you anywhere between 15 to 25%. Sometimes in cloud, we're talking about 40% savings, no change management.
Amazing.
So that's the immediate savings. And then towards the continuous savings part, just to kind of finalize the question there, we do what we call a vendor cloud. Similar to what AWS.
Are you saying vendor cloud or vendor clout?
Vendor cloud.
Cloud, got it.
Cloud. So the idea is that we actually use AI to help companies find and extract all of their non-structured data, invoices, contracts, spend, all of this information, and build sort of this brain. There's one cloud, similar to AWS, is the single cloud for your customer data and all those things. Finance, procurement doesn't have that. They don't have a vendor cloud. They don't have a single, ERP has some data, but not contracts. ERP is mainly for spend. So I think once we build the vendor cloud, so it's about using AI and automation to take that work from the customer. Because if you just tell the customer, give me all your invoices and contracts, it will take them a very long time to go find it even.
That's right, yes.
And if you're going to make them do a lot of work, typically it's not going to be very successful because they don't want to do it, they don't have time, and it just kind of ends up where it is.
On that point, I one of my jobs many years ago, we were working, there was a merger that happened. And after these companies merged, was down in one of the locations in Texas, and I opened a drawer, and there I found a originally signed contract.
Yeah.
And that, I'm assuming, is why you don't want to leave it to the procurement team to go ahead and...
If you think about just, I'm a very common sense person, and I actually didn't come from procurement. And so I think I have a different point of view to look at procurement, how to solve procurement in a way, especially, obviously we have a lot of advisors to our company that are in procurement for 20, 30 years, but they've been in it for so long. They see things a certain way, where we can come in, I just look at it from a common sense perspective and say, hey, like, how could it be better? How can we make it better for you? But I agree, we work with customers that said, hey, we have a contract, CLM tool, spend a lot of money, great, it's all in there. Just go in and get the information.
Yeah.
We go in, you have contracts from 2018, you have contracts from 2014, you have contracts from 2021. It's like, no, where's your latest contract? Because that price 5 years ago is no good.
No longer.
That's not even on your invoice.
So, Victor, this is amazing. So you're able to actually just take in all of the information, automate it, go back to that why, how, what, when.
Yeah.
Compile all of that information almost through that common sense lens.
Yeah.
And then display it to the end user in a way that's digestible.
Yeah.
So that they can use that information and move it forward.
Yeah, so I think
is incredible.
Well, there's three things we do for companies. So really, I think it's what you just mentioned, right? Really provide them information and visibility. Two is obviously accessing immediate savings through our savings program. Discounts that end customers simply cannot access because these are partner discounts, wholesale discounts, distributor discounts that they can't access. And third is, if they have a procurement team, we'll provide the information to the procurement team so they can execute even easier, better with their vendors. Or for smaller companies that may only don't have procurement or smaller procurement teams, we can help them drive savings as a kind of an extension to their team. So that's
terrific. That's terrific. I know we're gonna get started, but
I just have one question. Who is your biggest client, private or public sector, and why do you think that is?
Yeah, our sweet spot is typically around 500 employee to 10,000 employees, so we call that mid-market and enterprise. Any company who wants to identify savings or know where they're being overcharged, I wouldn't even say overspending, because they don't even know they're overspending. They're being overcharged, actually, by vendors. And so, I think, obviously we have customers of all sizes, from Fortune 1000s down to companies with 50 employees, because they want to focus on revenue generation. They want to focus on other things.
The things they specialize in.
They want to save money, but they don't have time or expertise or know where to even start.
And that's where you come in.
Exactly. That's where we come in. Either provide you the data so you can do it, or we will help you get the savings and you can focus on running the business.
So, Victor, we appreciate you all. We appreciate Varisource for coming in and sponsoring this event. It has been amazing. It's been a pleasure meeting you. And we thank you for stopping by and having a quick chat with us.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having us. And excited to partner with you guys.
All right. This next guest.
Yes.
We have the makers of the day.
Really?
Yes. So we're gonna introduce you to Claire Barnes and Sophie Serhan.
Correct.
Serhan.
Yeah.
Okay. Sophie Serhan and Claire Barnes, who are KonnectHouse.
Yep.
And welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us
you.
on your podcast. We're excited that you're here today as
What
well.
a great event. What a great event.
The feedback of this event has been better than, and again, this is our first time doing this, so we appreciate this and we thank you for having us. But the feedback from this event, being a practitioner of procurement and hearing the conversations that are happening, stellar event, ladies.
Yeah.
Stellar event.
Echoes exactly what we've been hearing as well from everybody that's here today. I think there are a lot of challenges in this room for a lot of people, and a lot of similar challenges as well. So it's just very useful for people to know that everyone in this room has similar sort of struggles and they can talk about it, share best practice. It's been a phenomenal day and a half so far of conversation and collaboration, and it's a nice size group of people as well to be able to really get around the room and work the room and get to know everybody.
Yesterday we had one of the guests, and he was saying that for the most part being in procurement, it's like a lonely job.
Yeah.
Hence the wolf pack. Once you come here, you realize that your problem is not as unique as you thought it was. So I love when he said that. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like all about finding your crew, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Your pack.
Your pack. Exactly. I see what you did there.
So tell us a little bit about who you both are,
Please.
how
Yeah.
this started, how you got into KonnectHouse, and what's your vision?
Oh, wow. So, yeah, it's a loaded question. Well, we are KonnectHouse. We've been established for, I think, maybe 8 or so months now. We both came out of the Procurement Foundry community, having worked with Mike Cadju over there and setting up events for that community that were excellent. And Procurement Foundry went in a slightly different direction, which gave Claire and I an opportunity to start up on our own, women-owned business, soon to be certified, and kind of bring to the table unique events that you don't see out there. What we're trying to do, and our mission, is bringing together smaller groups of people where, as we have identified, they have similar sorts of challenges, and also niches in the market. You know, you go to a lot of the bigger events and you tend to see a lot of enterprise level companies there. They have very different challenges, bigger, robust teams. It's really this sweet spot here of individuals who are solo practitioners or small teams. We kind of want to be doing events for them and doing smaller, more intimate events. And I think in terms of what we've got planned, it's going to be lots on the calendar this year, isn't there? We're trying to keep one step ahead. Claire does a fantastic job of doing all the market research, all the production. I might let you talk for a little bit on exactly what you're identifying. Yeah. I'm what people probably call the bad cop. I'm the sales lady. I go and find all the sponsors that can help us fund these events. But the magic comes from this lady. So.
That was
That is
nice.
so
Nice
sweet. That was very
introduction.
nice.
No, it's a perfect pairing. As Sophie said, what we really want to do is create intimate events, and that's whether it's based around a particular theme. For example, the Agentic AI events that we've got going on. We ran one last week in San Francisco, and we're running that again in London. And you can guarantee that everybody that you're sat next to or talking with throughout the day is focused on exactly that same challenge. So we centre things around a theme, or certainly with Wolfpack around a specific audience. So again, you know that every conversation you have is going to be really valuable and you're going to meet the right people. So that's how we differentiate. We don't want to be big on size where you're just kind of rubbing shoulders with people that might not be relevant to you in your day to day. And there's a lot more to come. But I mean, Sophie and I have been doing this for a very long time. I think 25 plus years each of us, isn't it?
Wow.
We used to work together at a company called Informa many years ago. And we.
So wait, did you know so you knew each other
We knew
because
each
you
other
worked
before.
together?
Oh, yeah.
And then
This
did you
is-
come?
That's our story
I
too.
know.
Yeah.
And then did you come back together at the Procurement Foundry?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we started Procurement Foundry, and I came in to do the sort of research and the content for the events with Mike Cadju. And I knew Sophie from before, and we needed a sponsorship person to come in, and I managed to entice you into the Foundry. But we loved it. It was a startup. It was a completely different environment to
Yes.
the big commercial conferences that we'd worked for before. And that community element, that's what every conference company is striving for. So to start with that and then build on that was just what set Procurement Foundry apart. And that's what we're continuing to do, you know, and it's great. And we've met some amazing people along the way that are continuing to work with us, whether they're speakers or sponsors. And that differentiation, I think, is what is really keeping people aligned with what we're doing. So it's exciting times.
It's amazing. Now, is your intention to stay in procurement and stay around this atmosphere?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what we've been doing now for nearly 5 years, and we've made really great connections. And we're not procurement experts, although it's frightening how quickly you pick a topic up. You know, we're events people, but we can deliver in any market. And whether that's events that I've market researched and put together based on what we know people want to hear. Or we also will be doing bespoke events for companies that want us to run something for them, whether that's a company that doesn't have the resource itself but wants to kind of bring us in to do something for them. But it is all procurement supply chain, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll hand over to you for that.
So that's funny. Because I've known you a long time now, 5-6 years, I'm guessing. Sophie, we didn't meet until this event, right?
Yep.
I didn't know that you weren't a procurement person. So you presented. I don't mean, you roll with the conversations, and I think because you have so much procurement around you, there's no way.
That's it. You get immersed in a market. I mean, before Sophie and I were working in financial services and compliance events, and that's a terrifying topic to be immersed in. But we ran. I mean, you were in that for 15 plus years, weren't you? So, and a lot of the background of events I ran was financial, insurancy stuff. So, but once you're just immersed in something and surrounded by it, and it's just a great group of people. I love procurement people. They're just so much fun. It's particularly stateside as well.
Well, I'm gonna say, so this is the event that brought me together with so many people I'd never met in person.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about this event the most. I mean, the content has been terrific, and there's been a lot of learning. I'm not underselling that at all. Yeah. But seeing people with whom I've had these long-standing relationships, this has been
And that's where the
phenomenal.
community piece comes in, because when we used to run the Procurement Foundry events, obviously people have been talking 365 days a year online through the platform, and they would come together for the event and say it almost felt like a high school reunion where you were catching up with people that you knew. And I think it's very unique to kind of have that vibe at an event, and that's what we want to continue building on.
That's great.
Yeah.
I've been listening a lot about AI and procurement.
Okay.
Where do you see procurement and AI in a couple of years? Do you think it will be for the better?
I think it's already for the better, whether you're in procurement or not. I mean, I don't know about all of you, but I'm using it every day. I can't actually live without it anymore. It's amazing what ChatGPT can do for you.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of education for procurement, and I'm not an expert, but I think there's still a narrative where a lot of people think it's going to come in and replace their jobs. But really, if you apply it in the way that people suggest you apply it, it's there to make your job more efficient. What I hear time and time again is procurement get very stuck in the tactical day-to-day. I think James Mead said once upon a time he felt like a glorified administrative member of staff. So it frees you up to get the AI to do that and help, and then you can do more the strategic stuff. So I think it's an exciting time, not just for procurement, for any industry, for anybody really. And as Eloise says, Dr. Eloise Epstein, who's on our advisory board, the best thing you can do is go home and just start building your own agent. Just,
That's right.
get to grips with it, because it's not going anywhere.
That's right.
That's what I would
That's
say
right.
anyway. You got any? Yeah.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you. So you have how many things already scheduled for this year?
So this is our second event. Tomorrow we've got Women in Procurement. So if anybody's watching and not booked, we've got space. Come and join us. That event's going to be great. We're not talking about procurement skills. We're talking about navigating your career, mapping it out, building each other up. How do you navigate bullying in the workplace? We're going to be sharing experiences, and I think lots of people are going to have some really interesting content to bring to the table. And then, because we're based in the UK, we want to start doing stuff over in London. So we've got an Agentic AI event in September, which we're super excited for. Yeah, trying to lock down the venue at the moment, actually, for that one. And then we have the really big technology sourcing event. Well, it's not really big, it's 300 or so people, but it'll be the biggest event that you probably see us do, because, as we said earlier, we want to be sticking more to the intimate events.
Yes.
But it was a Procurement Foundry event originally, and we want to continue the legacy of that event. It's an important event. I think people are going to want to keep coming back to that one time and time again. So we'll do
And
that.
do you have that one? Where is that one?
In Chicago, November 4th and 5th.
Okay.
And then I think if we're going to do any more, we need to clone ourselves.
Exactly. That's where the AI agents come in.
Yes,
We do
yes.
need to
Your
clone
hologram is
ourselves.
next,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, we have great plans of things we want to do, but it's the bandwidth issue. It's just the two of us.
Yep.
Plus Sue.
Plus Sue.
Sue
Yeah,
Lister,
shout out to Sue.
operations
amazing.
lead. She
Yes.
is awesome. Couldn't do it without her. She's just running, pedaling furiously in the background. But we've got some new events that we're looking to do that will be stateside and in Europe as well, and we're just kind of in the early stages of researching those. But I'm not going to give away those trade secrets. But it's about, I mean, I've said this many times, it's about speaking to our audience and making sure that what we deliver is what we know they want to see, and then they'll come. Build it and they will come.
Build it
Isn't
and they will
right?
come.
That is so true.
It's
That
so
is so
true.
true.
Yeah, I mean, these conversations that
Look
are
at this,
happening
yeah.
are awesome, and
is
people are
amazing.
loving it, and that's what we want to do, and to see it come to life, it's just, yeah, that's what's
Well, we
great
love
about
this.
events.
We love that you're a women-owned business.
God, yes.
We love,
Yeah.
love that. And congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
You have
Powerhouses.
kicked off an amazing event here in New York. So thank you very much. Thanks for taking the chair.
No, thank you
And
for being with us. It's great to have
appreciate
you guys here.
We loved it.
This is
We really did
great.
love it.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. And thank you. And we will talk to you again soon. Thanks.